Hi, I'm Mike. I'm going to apply some Pereguard tape to the bottom of a couple of kayaks today in an attempt to prolong the life of the kayak. First, thoroughly clean your kayak, get all the grease, oil, debris off of it, and support it upside down on a sturdy bench at a height that you can work comfortably at. Depending on the lighting conditions and the color of your boat, sometimes feeling for the scratches is a better indicator than looking for them. On kayaks that have already seen the beach, the water, the boat landings, you want to remove any raised scratches, gouges. I used a cabinet scraper to remove the larger scratches, the excess material that was furred up. I came back and sanded with a 220 or finer grit sandpaper only in the areas with which I'm going to stick the tape. Okay, you can order Pereguard tape in different widths and different colors. Get the widest width you think you need. Don't try to save money at this time. To some degree you can, but order all the tape you need and then a little bit extra, because you're always going to want just a little bit more than you think. And if you need to double up in places like the bow and the stern, whether it be under the long length or on top of the long length, you're going to want to have it on hand to do it this time. I'm laying down the center keel line tape here. You don't want to cut this short. You want to, if anything, you want to leave it a little bit long. Attach it down the center line with some removable painter's tape so that we can lay out our cuts. Okay, I found the point of my compound curve, and I'm put a solid surface behind the tape so that I can use a grease pencil and a straight edge to lay out my cuts. This is pretty important, but this is where you can get a little bit creative. I want it very narrow at the compound curve so that when I hit it with the heat gun and start sticking the tape to the hull, it doesn't kink or bend. It needs to be able to form to that curve. So I need to work very narrow at that point. I'm taking this wide 4-inch tape down to about an 1.25 inch wide part at the compound curve. Here you can straighten your lines, put a little curvature, put a little design. Just remember, anything you cut into that tape is a possible spot for it to peel back. Once it starts peeling back, you get sand and dirt in there, you lose your adhesion, and then the tape starts to break down. At the very end of the tape, I'm going to widen it up here in a minute so that when it goes up from the water line at the very edge of the tape, I have more adhesion surface. You'll need a sharp pair of scissors or shears. You may be able to cut it like this with a razor knife if you have a steady hand and you attach that tape to the hard backer board. I found a good sturdy pair of scissors work just fine. You don't want this grease pencil, the grease, to get in the way of the adhesion when we go to apply it. Try to keep everything balanced from that center line. It'll give a much nicer appearance in the finished job. Alright, this end, the bow end's ready to stick. I'd remove the grease pencil with the denatured alcohol from the face of the tape so that it can't possibly interfere with the adhesion. Okay, before you stick your tape, make sure you have wiped all surfaces. There is no debris, no flaky stuff. The boat's perfectly clean and the tape is perfectly clean. Position your tape lightly. Position it so that it is exactly where you're going to want it to finish out at. Peel your backer tape, give it a light stick from front to back. Really helps if it's not a windy day. It has to be at least 70 degrees outside. This is 70 degrees today. I'm working right at the edge. Be careful to keep your center line intact. Follow that center line. Everything's based on that. I've got to balance it on both sides of the Mirage Drive cutout for this particular kayak. I'll reinforce that area later also. Start applying the heat. Don't overheat the boat. The boat will take a lot of heat, and you're not too worried about that. That tape's going to soften up before that boat does by far. I get the heat gun up to about 500 degrees. Just bring it into focus when I need it. Try not to overheat. When you start overheating, you start breaking down the adhesion. The adhesion on the back side of that tape is just a double-sided sticky. One side applied to the tape, the other side to the boat. If you overheat it, it will bubble and come apart. You don't want to overheat it. Just enough heat to do the job you're trying to do.